Today we're going to be talking about deploying in the Army, but without further ado, let's get to it. What is up, guys? Ben Allen back again with another video, and like I just said, we're going to be talking about deploying, deployments, and things of that nature that could happen should you join the Army, right? And it's going to be answering the question I always hear, like, oh, will I deploy if I join the Army? That's like the general gist of this video. I figured with everything that's going on in the world right now, it's a good time to make something like this because there are some people that join the Army that genuinely believe that they will never, ever, there's 0% chance of them deploying at all. And that is far from the truth, guys. But before we get into that, if you're new here, my name is Ben Allen. I did active duty Army for 4 years as a 68 Whiskey. I got out in 2019 as a sergeant. I did the reserves for a year and a half after that as well. So I have that active duty knowledge, the reserve knowledge. If you have any questions whatsoever, hit me up on my Instagram at @TheBenAllen. It's the best possible place to reach me. There's a link in the description also for my Discord. There's over 200 people in there that can help answer your all's questions as well. I pop in from time to time. Be sure to like this video as it pushes it out to a larger audience, and subscribe because I'm trying to hit 1 million subscribers in about the next year or so, and I need your all's help to do it. But with all that out of the way, let's jump into the main topic. Deploying in the Army. Like, will you deploy should you join the Army in 2022, right? This is a hot topic question. A lot of people ask me this on Instagram. I see a lot of people on TikTok making videos about it, and there's always gonna be that maybe factor, right? Maybe you have a job that's non-deployable, right? Maybe you have some sort of MOS, or you're in a certain position that's non-deployable. That's probably one of the only ways that you're not going to be deployed overseas should anything happen, whether it's for a rotation, whether it's for an actual deployment, whether it's for, a time of war, right? Those are possibly some things, but if they need bodies and you're there and they need you, they're going to send you, right? That's just one of those things. Another way that you're possibly not going to get deployed is if you're like on a permanent profile. Not really like a permanent profile, because I know people that have deployed that were on permanent profile, but if you're like getting med boarded or something, or if you're in the process of getting kicked out. But even then, I've still seen people that are in the process of that still overseas as well, right? You have to be like really like medically fucked up for them not to like send you overseas, so keep that in mind. But that doesn't mean go and break both your legs so you can get out of a deployment, right? Like that's not it. Don't do that. Because if there's one thing worse than like not deploying with your unit, it's actively trying not to deploy with your unit, right? If there's like something that happens, you're gonna feel bad that your buddies are over there, and if you try not to go, because we had one guy, like his wife was pregnant, right? She was also in the Army, and he got to stay back to see his kid be born. Cool, but then like 3 months after that, he's still back in the States, and he was just prolonging his time to come out overseas, and so people just kind of started like looking at him in a different light. So you don't want that to be you, right? Again, I just hit on a pregnancy. If you're pregnant, you won't deploy. You'll have the kid, right? And you'll get like so many days of leave after that for your maternity leave, right? And then, they're probably still going to send you out there. I've seen that happen as well, right? One of the biggest things, if a recruiter is telling you in the recruiting office, like, oh, dude, don't worry, you're not going to deploy, there's nothing going on in the world right now, blah, 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 it might be true to an extent. There might not be anything going on in the world that's like, big enough to warrant deploying soldiers overseas in a time of war and all that, right? But if history has taught us, there's always going to be something popping off, right? Especially, with Russia, Ukraine, everything that's going on right now. Like, I'm not saying that that's a possibility right now. As of right now, they're not really doing anything with that. Like, yeah, they have some people in like Poland and stuff, but as far as that's concerned, no, don't worry yet, because that's the biggest thing. I have all my civilian friends like, are we going to war? Are we going to war? Like, I'm like, bro, chill, like, just wait, like, trust me, like, you'll know if we are, but right now, just calm down, like, things are playing out the way they're playing out. And, but then there's also some people on the opposite end of the spectrum, right, that I was mentioning earlier, that they join thinking that they're not going to deploy whatsoever. There's no chance of them going overseas, and when they find out that they are, they start like freaking out. We had one woman in my 68 Whiskey AIT. We all got our orders, right, and she was getting sent to a unit that was getting ready to go to Afghanistan. So she literally like quit training. Like, she didn't want to train anymore. She did everything she could to get chaptered out of the Army. That way she wouldn't have to deploy to Afghanistan, because she didn't think that was like a thing. She didn't think that was like possible, like right out of AIT, going to a unit, going to Afghanistan. I got to my unit right after AIT. We went to Kuwait. Granted, it wasn't a deployment, it was a rotation, but I was like, all right, cool, we're going to Kuwait. Like, I signed up to do this. Like, that's one thing you have to remember. You're signing up to join the military, guys. So if you get sent overseas, you know, like, yeah, you signed up for it, and you know, there's some people that are like, oh, well, you can't, I mean, saying you signed up for it doesn't mean you signed up for everything like that. Like, I mean, but you have to understand that it's always a possibility. There is no 0% chance that you will never deploy, that you're not going to deploy. Something could pop off in the world, guys. You don't know. Like, most contracts are 2, 3, 4 years, right? Some people do even more than that. A lot can happen in 2 years. A lot can happen in 3 years. Shit, things can happen in 6 months. So to think that you will never deploy, you're not going to deploy, is completely crazy. I'm not saying that if you join right now, you're going to go to war, you're going to deploy, you're going to do all that shit, right? Because there's a chance that you won't. I have buddies that never went on a rotation, never left the country, right? But, you know, on the opposite end, you know, I went to Kuwait, I went to South Korea, both were rotations, right? Some people get stationed in Germany, some people get stationed in South Korea. Like, you can be stationed overseas as well. And, you know, some people, like, get spun up. They go to Afghanistan, they go to Iraq, all that stuff. Maybe not as much, you know, today, but it's always something. Like, back when I joined, right, people didn't think that was the thing, but hey, there they were, getting sent over there, all that stuff, right, doing rotations, deployments. So just keep that in the back of your head, guys. So to answer the question of the video, which I've already answered a bunch, but just to summarize everything, if you join the Army, you know, in 2022, going forward, there is always going to be a possibility of you deploying. Will it happen? Who's to say, right? It's 50-50. It could happen, could not happen. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind, and don't say, oh, the recruiter tricked me, he said that. Like, no, like, you watch this video, like, you know it's a possibility. So keep that in the back of your head, guys. Stay safe, and just don't be upset. Don't try to be that guy that tries to get out of it just because you don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's, maybe you'll learn from it. Maybe you'll grow as a person, as a leader. If you plan on doing it as a career, like, I'm telling you, like, it's not all that bad in terms of, like, you know, like, you're gonna make it worse in your head if you think, oh my God, I'm gonna die, all this stuff, like, all this stuff's gonna happen, right? Just go with the flow and just do the best that you can do, be the best soldier you can be, and, you know, more or less, it won't be that bad of an experience, depending on the situation. I don't want you guys, oh, this guy said it's deploying isn't that bad. No, like, I completely did not, that's not what I mean, right? I mean, just go in there with a grain of salt if you do have to go in there. Again, but thank y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate this. You know, you guys showing up time and time and again, showing the support. Be sure to like this video, subscribe so we can hit 1 million subscribers, and follow me on Instagram if you have any questions, whether it's about the current world situation, the videos, the Army, anything in general, and I'll try to get back to you. My Instagram is @thebenallen. My Discord description link is down there in the box. Click it. Over 200 people, they can help you out. They can help answer your questions as well. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Later.